All right. I got two tables up. Um, Bottom right will be up for a little bit. They had a $11 tournament, so I figured might as well enter that, and hopefully I can win back my $100 entry. That is the main one that you see on the left. Um, Say I did a $100 tournament. I don't know when they added it, but you start with 10K and blinds go up. I think it was every 8 or 9 minutes, which is slightly slower than their other tournaments, which is much preferred. Um, anyway, though, I'll pay only attention to the $100 one on the left. Um, so yeah, A7, ace on the flop. So I'm thinking I'm good. Don't love the spade. Hopefully I can talk fast enough while I watch. They bet 950, which I thought was weird since the pot's only 712, so it's clearly an overbet. Um, but I am thinking there's a good chance it's a bluff, since, right, if they have a flush, why would they bet more than the pot? Because you obviously want someone to call you. So it just felt like it was a bluff, which is why I called with my ace 7. Um, and then ideally, I am hoping that they check here, just because, I don't know, it's kind of scary, but with them checking, I just want to flip over my cards. Um, and I was right that they were bluffing, so that was a good start. And actually, if you notice, the person on the right, there's a little note above them. I left a note saying that um, if they overbet the pot, they're probably bluffing. I know it's only been one instance of that happening, but still, it's a nice little note to have on them. Then I had 6-10 suited, so I'd like to see a flop. I mean, it's a mediocre hand. Um, but it's early in the tournament. I don't know if a lot of people are going to be like re-raising a lot pre-flop, so I took a chance and no one did. So flop's pretty decent for me too. I mean, I think if someone bets, I'll probably leave, but it gets checked to me. No one bet pre, so I go ahead and put in just 200 for a small bet. Queen of diamonds on the turn is kind of perfect. Gives me a flush draw. Now I also got a straight draw, so I'm just betting on the draw. And I think that's a great river. Straights hit. Um, obviously my diamonds aren't crazy high, but I definitely think that I have the best hand. So it's kind of a value bet of 1,000 at this point. And same person I beat earlier gives me more chips. So nice start. Nice start for me. Pocket queens. So I go ahead and I assume I 3-bet it. Why did I do? Sometimes I just like to not do the exact 3-bet amount. It's like 2.5. That's quite the re-raise. But I guess I'll pause it here. I mean, it's just if they have it, they have it, and it's like congratulations, you have kings and I have queens, or they have aces. But like overwhelming odds, right? Or they have ace queen, ace king's just a coin flip, king queen, any lower pair. Like it's like 80% of hands you're dominating them, and then two hands that dominate you. So that's why I just go ahead and rip it back at them, and they fold. So I bet they had maybe a low like eights or fives or something, or they were just trying to bluff it. I doubt that though. I bet they had something. The very next hand is Jack, so that's pretty sweet. Shout out to Spencer, the Jiggities. Plus, it's in my big blind, so that's nice. I think about re-raising, doing the 3x, what I basically did with the queens, but I decided to just slow play it. I'm trying to just play it a little differently. Obviously, that's an awesome flop. I check because there's no way that flop hit them, so I feel like if I bet, they'll just leave. Um, and then if you're paying attention, it's the same person that overbet. Like that's an insane bet. There's 375 chips in the pot and they bet 2K. Like that's just absurd. Um, and I would go with stupid because you could just bet like 900 chips. I'm still gonna leave when I have nothing. I check again just because the only way I'm gonna get chips here is if they decide to bluff at it again. You can see the little baby bet they do. I'm hoping that means they run like a spade draw, or maybe they'll put me on a spade draw. But I think there's just no way they're gonna bet again. Um, Even if I bet here, I don't think they're calling. So that's pretty good value, I think, because they decided to bet 2K for, again, just like way too much of an overbluff. But that's why we got the note on them, and it definitely seems true that they overbet pot when they're bluffing. So is it G.I. Joe that said knowing's half the battle? Is that it? Knowing's half the battle into poker. If you pay attention to the bottom right, I got ace queen suited, so I send it all in. Those smaller tournaments are weird. Everyone just rips everything all in. It's not really poker. It's pretty fucking stupid if I'm being honest. Anyway, in the main tournament that we actually care about, 10-6, I'm first to act, so I check. Everyone checks again, and obviously that 2 didn't help anyone. So I just do a little small baby raise. Bottom right. I get eliminated. Yeah, lost a coin flip. Again, that's just how all of those tournaments go. But good news, I now make it full screen. Yeah, so the run out being another 2 and another queen, I actually do think of that in my head. I'm guessing that Mr. Sensation probably has an ace, so he'll probably want to call. Um, and he calls, so I'm pretty confident I was right. And like, also, I think the theme here is yes, I've had good hands, but they're always calling. Like that just seems to always be the case. Um, Actually, I'm just gonna pause it while I go on a real quick rant. I probably shouldn't pause it because this video is already gonna be super long. But like, it just feels like normally when playing, I guess everywhere that I play, if I hit a hand, then I'll get paid. So the more flaps I can see, the better. Since like I will definitely fold when I feel like I'm beat, and I feel like most of these people don't. It's not really a rant, whatever. I'll just go back to making it active. Yeah, I just do a small bet because I don't know. You never know. They could have a 4. No one raised pre. 6 is an interesting card. I feel like it's probably good for me since I'm guessing that they have overs, which is why they called. And I could have a straight. Now I could have a straight or a flush, so could they. I don't feel good by any means, but I feel like if I check, they'll just bully me and I'll fold. So I bet 600. And I'm not going to act like I think this is I don't know what the right thing to do here is. But I don't know why they called and can't beat 5s. That doesn't make any sense to me. Um, yeah, I mean, I think ideally I check there and they check there. I just don't think they were going to check. So I bet 600, hoping that at worst I get a call, just so I can see if I'm good. But them calling just with nothing is shocking. Pretty stupid. Man, this be flying. Such good editing I did with clipping this stuff. Ace King, raise it. Again, I did the 700 instead of just 3x, just because honestly I'm trying to induce calls. Like I'm trying to do the right thing by raising and get shitty cards like 5-6 out of there that I don't want to lose to. Um, but yeah, I think it entices people to call. Quite a good flop. I'm always scared, like, any hand, which is probably bad, because I'm like, what if they have king 10? But, you can't just assume they outflop you when you have a great hand. Bet half pot. I raised right and they called, so I do think they could have a king or they could have a 10, so I think there's a good chance that I get a call. Maybe they have queen jack, right? So now they're on a straight draw. So I think there's a lot of reason for me to get paid there. Obviously, that's a nothing card, and I'm kind of happy just to take it down now. But I guess I'm happy with getting called as well. But bet half pot, insta fold. So I bet they were on a draw, and at that point, it's not financially worth it for them to call 2,000 when they don't have as many outs. Little ace queen action. Yep, just trying to be a little bit consistent with betting. Not consistent. We vary it a little bit. I guess consistent isn't always great. I don't know Peo, if that's how you pronounce it. I think he's newer to my table. I tanked for a while too. I still don't know. Like I need to look this up to see what I'm supposed to do. Um, like I'm thinking that he's seen at least a little bit where I've raised and then like I won the pot. I guess I didn't end up revealing that I had ace king because they folded, but I'm in first. I feel like I just don't want to call such a large amount pre-flop when they could have ace king and they have me killed. They could have pocket pairs and then it's more of like a 50-50. It just felt like more of a gamble than I wanted at that stage. But again, I don't know if that is just being way too tight. So I'm gonna have to look that up. I will partially why I'm making this video, so I can look up stuff where I'm just not sure if that was bad play by me or not. But we move on. Again, because it's super amazing editing. We're already on the next hand that I'm in. The guy did a min raise I called, so that's great for me. That flop definitely is great for pocket pairs. I'm not really putting him on a 10. He could have it, of course, but I'm not putting him on a 10 with just the small min raise that he did. You know, ace king, king queen, king jack. Not ace king, actually. He should raise more. But anyway, I hit D7. Obviously, we got a full house. So I'm hoping that he'll bet, I'll call, and then on the river, I'm hoping for a heart because maybe he'll hit a flush. You know, we don't know. He has two hearts, but that's my hope. And that's basically the money card, in my opinion. That's what's going through my head. I decided to check again. A little risky, but I did it. Sometimes I'll bet it, but this time I felt like checking would be the better play to trap him, and that's enough. Where he put in 1/3 of his stack, so like we can just go all in now and get the rest. Um, I just wanted to take my time a little bit, and I'll tell you what. I will pause real quick. I did stand up and just I yelled how because I was that surprised to lose that hand. I trapped him. AKA I also actually trapped myself because I clearly don't have the best hand. Um, yeah, I mean there's nothing I can do about that. Um, even if I bet flop turn, he's always gonna end up calling. I don't know. Yeah, it just it be like that sometimes. I think the only positive really, it's just I was chip leader before that, and he was pretty low stack. So like at least I didn't lose that much. And then thankfully, actually, the break came like the next hand. So it was nice to try and cool off for 5 minutes because that was a little bit of a tilter. This is the first hand after the break. Actually, I barely get back to call. It'd be nice to just see a flop with Jack 10 on the button. For those of you that don't know, Isaiah, if you're on the button, it says the little D right in front of me. That's the dealer button. That just means that you're going to act last. So it's a really nice spot to be because then everyone, yes, acts before you. Not a great flop, but everyone checked. So I'm still trying to be a little bit aggressive. Like Spencer just got on Hell Drivers too. Okay, moving on. Um, everyone calls. I feel like that's garbage, but that's a great turn card. And then I check just because I want to see if I'm gonna hit it or not. We hit the straight, which they let me do. I really wouldn't have stayed. I would have stayed at the right price actually. I'm thinking I can raise pretty strongly here. He's probably got a two pair, or at least he hit the ace. So I think when I re-raise back, he should think about King Jack. Um, but I almost guarantee that he has an ace, and it was amazing that he called because we just got paid on that one. And like that's right after too, where again we took that not bad beat, but I lost full house to full house. So now we're back to feeling great. Second place out of 12. Um, that's 12 currently playing. They can still register, it looks like, for another 30 minutes, and people love to late reg. Bunch of animals. Oh, that Skrilla guy, yeah, he's playing like 4 tables. He typed that in, which is good to know because he's not really paying attention if you're playing 4 tables. Okay, well, you know what? I praised the editing by me earlier. I could have taken out this 30 seconds. Whatever, but I didn't. Screw you guys and your time. I was going to raise the big blind, but now I assume I'm going to call if I know myself. I could, like, you can 3-bet this back, um, but I'm assuming I end up calling knowing myself. Yep. I mean, it's just a juicy flop for old Preston. I also got like the yeah, I check because so if you raise the pre-flop, I don't know, 80% of the time you bet the flop. What did I just say? If you whatever, if you raise pre-flop, then you end up betting the flop. So that's why I check. He's gonna bet, and then I'm gonna re-raise and take it down. He checks, and that pisses me off. But I'm like, okay, well, I got the ace. He raised pre, so he probably has an ace. And now I'm like really gonna get him. I am slightly scared of king queen, like I'm always scared of everything, but still, this is a good spot to check raise him. So I check so he can bet. So he can bet. So he can bet. And I'm just, am I pissed? Yeah, I am. I bet pot because I'm hoping that looks a little bit more like I'm trying to steal it. You know, like I'm not betting value. I'm trying to steal the hand. So hopefully at least Woohoo will call me at worst. So kind of just waiting for the call so I can get paid off. Homie's just gonna tank 3 times. Am I pissed about winning that hand? Yeah, I am. Like after having a day to think about it, I'm pretty sure he probably just had like pocket 5s or 6s or something. So once he saw 2 overs, he just didn't want to participate. Like I'm surprised he didn't take any stab at it, but you know what? Maybe it's because I got 40K chips and he only has 12. But yeah, I guess it's annoying when your plan is to check raise someone and they refuse to bet. So whatever, we took it down. I shouldn't be salty about taking it down, but I am. I just min raise this time. Like I said, I'm trying to mix it up. I mean, ace 10 obviously isn't as good as ace queen and ace jack and all that stuff. But again, since I raised pre-flop, I raise on the flop as you're supposed to do. Because if we talk about ranges, this hit my range more. I bet I don't want to check it and look weak. I'm assuming, so I bet again. I don't know if he has a king or not. Oh, I do check. Okay, well, maybe I should have bet. I don't know. I don't remember every hand. I definitely hope he checks now since I checked. What am I going to do? Check to see the... Yeah. Hindsight, I should have bet. I would have gotten paid slightly more if I like value bet it at least. Oh, trying to keep up. So I got moved to this table, which sucks ass because I'm in 3rd place and this table has 2nd and 1st. And so this ship don't die guy immediately 3-bets my big blind. I don't know this person, right? I haven't been playing with him, so I don't know if he's just like a loose cannon. Maybe he plays really tight and I don't know that. so I wouldn't want to be calling here, but I assume he's a little bit loose. Okay, I'm gonna pause. Got some explaining to do. So he 3-bet my big blind. Yes, he could have like kings, queens, jacks, right? I mean, he could, but I already play pretty, not conservatively, pretty safe. So I check with the intention of calling, also because I have the straight draw. Um, and like I don't know, maybe he has ace jack, something like that. Even though we do block some of the ace combos. But when he bets, I mean, I don't think he hit that flop because he probably has 2 overs. Um, Probably explaining more than I need or whatever, but overall, it's a good flop for me, especially having the inside straight draw. Like a 9 would obviously be sweet. I hate that he bet pot because it's just a lot for me to invest, but I call because I don't think he has anything, just overs. Obviously, I hit the 9, and how he's played so far, I check because I'm real confident he's gonna bet. Um, and honestly, if he bets, he'll probably bet fairly large. And what do you know? He bets fairly large. Um, I could call, but at this point, there's 2 hearts. If he truly has like aces, he'll probably end up calling my re-raise anyway. But I'm really happy to take that down. That's my first hand, I believe, at this table. That's a huge win. Puts me above him in chips, and I think I know his play style now, where it's just hyper aggressive. Um, but yeah, that was that was a hell of a turn, and I think we put him correctly on just having a couple over cards. A little queen 10 action. I call it. Yeah, I don't think I've really been re-raised pre-flop, so I'm cool with just limping because I don't really haven't been punished for it. I think only the small blind right there punished me by going all in. Um, Not really. I was scared with this Skrilla guy. I think it's a good flop for me, because odds are big blind doesn't have an ace or a 4. Like if he had an ace, he probably would have raised, and then if he has a 4, I'll kind of like find out by betting a little bit. So that is the logic behind doing the small min bet. Obviously, I hope he folds, and we do. So picking up, I mean, the stuff adds up. Picking up blinds, showing him who's boss. Let's see, king 10, raise, just a min raise, so we expect to get called. And we do. We're hitting some flops though. With him calling, that doesn't really tell us much about his range because he's the big blind. You're supposed to call like min raises with, I don't know, probably like 80% of your hands unless they like really suck. The 10 comes, I'm gonna bet it again because I mean my hand's good and I don't want to show weakness. Obviously, I was scared of a straight, but with him getting out immediately, like it's worth the investment of just throwing in a 1,000 or two, especially with the chip stack that I have. That's one way to find out where he's at. Plus, if he had a straight, we could hit a king or a 10 potentially. Um, anyway, on to the next one because phenomenal editing. The guy only calls. We got queens, so we up the ante. We got 2 minutes till late registration is over, which is great. That's a good flop for old Preston. Obviously, you just want to avoid king or ace. So I actually think I'll take it down, but I've been bullying some people, so there's a good chance that my bets are not overly respected. So just continuing to bet, and he sends it all in. What am I thinking? Do I think? Oh, that's my music was playing pretty loud, so I went to Spotify to pause it because I really needed to think about this. Like, do I think he has Jack 9? It's possible. I would want to see a flop as well with Jack 9. I only min raised. I bet again on the flop, but I didn't bet a lot. So it would be worth it for him to call. Could he have 6-9, the ultimate combo? Yeah, it's possible. I feel like I'll pause it. I feel like what do I even want to say? I haven't. I feel like he thinks that I have something. I do think that. I did pre-raise him, pre-flop. I bet on the flop. I bet on the turn. So I'm assuming that he believes that I have at least a 10, and in that case, a 10 should normally be good with it just being the highest on the board. So part of me thinks because I believe he thinks I have something, that then his re-raise bet all in actually wants me to call. And part of that led me to the decision to fold. It's something that I'll try and look up this spot too. I think there's some websites that will tell me, like, I don't know, is that a good play or not? But I think at worst he's on a draw. Like maybe he has two spades. Maybe he's got a 9 and he's hoping to get lucky on the river. Like he definitely has outs, but I don't know. I folded, so I guess I think that he hit the combo. I don't know. It's like, why else would you really send it? I've bet every single opportunity that I've had, so that's a tight fold. And since I don't know what he has, I can't say that it was the right one, but I like to default whenever I do something like that and be like, oh, great play by me, just so I don't feel like shit. But as I literally type, if you didn't have it, I'm the biggest idiot that's playing on this website, because that's definitely how I feel. But I don't know, the very next hand I have pocket tens, and I'm definitely not really thinking about the tens. I'm just thinking about the queens that I just folded. It's not too, it's a tight laydown. What's that guy? That guy bets pre. That works for me. I should honestly potentially re-raise him here would be good, but I don't. Queen, queen three. Again, that's a good flop for me, just because I have pocket tens, and you see two queens, you can't assume that they have it. Okay, so the guy bets, and oh man, all this is way too quick. The guy bets. I assume if I have a queen, I'm checking, right? If you have a queen, you're probably checking, because there's no I don't have a three, you know, because I called your bet pre-flop. I guess I could have two spades, but basically with that board sucks so hard for almost anyone that if you have the queen, you're going to get no action. That's why you're going to check. So I elect to re-raise him because I think he's bluffing, or he could have like ace jack, something like that, ace 10. Although ace 10 would be awesome since I have pocket tens, but I guess I hope he folds because if he calls, then I might end up having to start thinking maybe he does have a queen. But him taking what doesn't mean anything because you could just do it on purpose. And he shows he had pocket tens, so our pocket tens fucked him up. Let's go, baby. I believe I end up showing him the pocket tens just so he knows that I had the same hand. 4-8. Why am I showing this? Oh, yeah. So K Hall, he just doesn't have as many chips, so it's a good spot just to 3-bet it, just to make him fold. Hopefully, obviously. But once you're like that low and he's like fighting to survive, oh, bringing my music back. Anyway, yeah, 3-bet it. He folds. He doesn't have a lot of chips. It's pretty straightforward. It might look awesome for me, but like that's what happens when you pour in this game. Then I get ace-7. I'm like, well, I just 3-bet and won, so this is a much better hand. So let me go ahead and do it again. And like part of the difference too, when I was like not 3-betting earlier with better hands, is I actually kind of wanted some action. and I wanted to disguise it a little bit, so that's why I did slightly less. But like now the blinds are more. That's a pretty tight fold with pocket fives. I'm actually surprised he didn't call, um, but we'll take it. And then my next hand's better, so I go ahead and three bet it again. But like that's the point is I had a shitty hand, a pretty good hand, and a pretty great hand. Bet the same exact amount every time, so that way they don't know. Although they have to assume I'm just stealing their blinds at this point. That's why I show the ace queen here, just because I want them to keep folding. So like hopefully they'll know, oh, this guy's not messing around. Trying to keep up, keep talking. There's a lot of chatting going on. I'm a pretty chatty guy, shocking. Okay, so situation right here. Let me pause this shit. Is everyone got paid? So top 7 people get paid. So we're all in the money. Looks like I'm in second. Sam obviously has a boatload of chips. But yeah, so we're all in the money. So now everyone's happy, and actually everyone's kind of talking except for a few people. Not that that actually matters in any way. But I think I just want to announce that we're all in the money at this point. What I do, min raise was probably kind of bold with where I'm located on the table, but I won't go into that. Same shit. That flop, he was big blind, so yeah, again, if you're gonna raise pre-flop, you should probably then raise the flop. I think I've won like 80% of my hands that way. It's pretty basic stuff. Ace 10 in the big blind, which is awesome for a big blind hand. Sam I am raises, which is honestly the only person I don't want to interact with since they're the only one that has me covered and I'm not trying to get 7th place while I'm in second. That flop's not that bad for me, honestly, with ace 10. Um, you probably think the ace is good. Now, Sam did bet, so Sam could have. Let's go with ace queen since we're not going to assume they have ace jack. They bet half pot. Again, I don't know. I don't want to interact with Sam I am, but then I think Sam I am knows that I don't want to interact with him or her. But I fold. They had pocket 10, so that was the right move. But I don't know. That's a tough laydown. Um, and it's probably not always the right decision, but in that case it was. Shocking. I made the right call. Am I right? Um, there's some people trying to split the pot. I'll probably talk about that in a little bit. Queen 10's pretty good hand. Big blind versus big blind. I'm happy to raise it. That's a hell of a flop for me. Again, I've just been being aggressive, trying to bully those smaller stacks. Bet the 5K, assuming I'll take it down here, which I don't. Don't feel great about the ace, but I know if I check it, it's game over. Like they'll just be able to shove on me. That's a pretty quick re-raise all in. I try to do the crying emoji because I'm unhappy. So it's a really good card to bluff for them. You would think if they had an ace, they would probably maybe re-raise pre-flop back at me when I pre-flop raise to 5,000. I fold. Again, I don't know if it's the right decision. Part of me thinks they could have a queen, and they could have a better kicker. Right? They could have queen jack, queen king. They could have ace. Maybe they could have like ace 2, and that's why they didn't want to raise pre because their ace kicker sucks. Or they could have bluffed me. I don't know. Um, that's just a tough spot that I'm gonna need to look that one up as well, which I shared that I hated that. I don't know if I cut it or not. He says, yeah, he didn't really like it either. He said he didn't know if he wanted me to call. So I know he at least had an ace or a queen. I think it just comes down to the kicker, not that a 10's bad. So I don't know. When you're down to 7, that might be too tight of a fold, but had I called it and lost, like I'd probably move down to maybe last place. This K Hog guy hasn't played many hands. That's why pre-flop raised his big blind, and he woke up with a hand, and that is a really easy way to lose 7,500 chips. So that sucks. That sucks pretty hard. We're down to 44, but wake up with ace jack clubs. By clubs, I mean diamonds. So again, we go 3x. And then I want to vomit in my mouth. It's just the same shit again. I don't know if I should call, but like, if you really think about it, I assume two things. He either A has a pocket pair, and now we're coin flipping. I don't want a coin flip for seventh place is going to get $160 back, which kind of fucking sucks because that's only $60 after playing for 2.5 hours. Don't get me wrong, I like playing, but like first place gets 1,400, so I would really like to get more. Also, if you see everyone's trying to share the pot, that's what that little pie chart in orange is, except for the Robin Hood piece of shit. Um, so what that will do, that basically splits the total prize pool by however many people are left. In this case, 7. So it's funny because right now, if everyone would agree, I'd get like $500, but because the Robin doesn't want to, um, I'm basically at risk. I think after P Power wins that hand, he doesn't want to do it anymore either. Um, but yeah, so anyway, it's just we're so close. So I don't want to do a coin flip, and then also he could have ace, king, queen, and then I'm dominated. So that's why I fold. Could be too tight. Maybe it's not the right decision, but it feels bad either way. I've done a bunch of folding since I'm down to, as you see, 27. DeRobin's been just ripping all ins. And what do you know? Ripping all in here. I'm peeing my pants a little bit because I know I'm going to call. It's obviously the right thing to do. Um, like DeRobin, like I said, they've been raising a lot of all-ins pre-flop, so they probably just have like ace two, three, four, or they could have ace, queen, jack, like anything, but they're probably just going all in with an ace, which obviously is all they need to beat the kings, but I have him dominate in that scenario, which is what I'm thinking while this guy tanks the clock for no reason. I guess he's thinking about it. But I'm like, sweet, is this how? It's such a negative attitude. Is this how I go? And that's exactly what we thought they would have. Look at the river, baby. I'll pause it because, like, no, just to be super clear, did not get lucky. It's bullshit that an ace came. They've literally 3 outs. Why poker websites and maybe even live they gotta like make you sweat is beyond me. Like what if they just put the king on the flop and then the ace on the river? But yeah, either way, I felt like shit for about 5 seconds because the cards come out real quick. Um, so I don't know. Thank God the best hand held, and now we're at 60K. We're back in it, but I was one unlucky play away from basically getting like 200 when it could be like 600 if we'd split the pot, you know? Which again, everyone wants to do except DeRobin and P Power over there. I'm not even saying I want to split the pot. I would like to make sure I get some fair amount of money, but like I'm just having fun. Queen nine's good enough just to call the blind. Um, Ace king obviously shouldn't lose here, but 11's a fair amount. Everyone was rooting for me because I'm super cool. Actually, they're just rooting for me because they want to split the pot. Um, After my dominating performance there, there's some chat where everyone's like, hey, do you want to split it now that it's down to 5? I think that happens right meow. The anti-chopper is gone. Yep. See, normally when you're in first place, you don't chop. You do get a percentage higher, right? So like you'll see how much I get, but like Sam, I am the people in front of me, they will end up getting a little bit more, which is kind of cool how they have that set up. But everyone agrees to chop. Again, part of me does want to keep playing, but I'm not gonna fuck up my chances of, I don't know. It's nice to lock in some cash. So we split 5 ways. So tied for first with 5 people for 610. It's not bad. It's not bad. And a YouTube video, the real prize at the end of the day.